All right, this is Saturday. It's Saturday. The weekend is right here, and welcome once again to the Gracious Hope podcast. That is our live podcast, and this beautiful Saturday, we are here to present our podcast with a special guest. We'll have you meet Harry Dennis Momo, and he's an intelligent and ambitious student from Liberia who aspires to pursue a meaningful career. And so he's our guest today. So with the excitement and nerves, Harry embarks on a new adventure to make his dreams come true. And so currently he is a PhD candidate in clinical research, pretty much cancer. I just can get the last word. The word behind that, I believe, is epidemiology, but he's going to get into that. Okay, so don't laugh at me, okay, if I don't get it right. But he has been doing study in cancer, and he's currently a PhD candidate at the University of Michigan. And in our episode today, we'll be featuring him to share his experience as a student in at an American college. And Pastor Suah Deddeh is also here. And so he's our special guest. And of course, today we will talk about some of the things he loves. He loves everything about public health, healthcare, and scientific research, which of course he has centered his education and job around. He is currently working on his doctorate in cancer research, and he'll be talking more about that. Also, he's interested in using real life data and observational studies to help make decisions about treating and preventing cancer. Specifically, he is studying how certain drugs and treatments that affect the thyroid might be linked to different types of cancer. So he is here to talk more about that. And it is fascinating to have a Liberian who left the country, his home country, during the Ebola epidemic. And because of his interests and what he has seen before his eyes, he's motivated to study. And in addition to his study, he's been working as a clinical research scientist for over 5 years. And he has also gained a lot of experience in important areas like planning, carrying out, and managing various stages of cancer studies. And so he's our guest. He grew up in Pinsville, Liberia. From what I see here, he's a son of Liberia. He grew up in Liberia, Pinsville, Dupero area, and he attended kindergarten at the Levi C. Williams before going on to the Christ the King Catholic School, where he graduated or completed elementary and junior and senior high school. He enrolled at the University of Liberia for a few years before migrating to the United States, where he would now, go on. He went on and did he earned his Bachelor of Science in Biological Sciences and Master of Science in Environmental Health Studies from Kentucky State University. Mr. Momo is currently, like I said, he's a doctoral candidate, and he will talk more about what he is doing right now. But he has experience in oncology, clinical research scientist as a scientist who has been driven by his commitment to support different mediums of cancer intervention and improving health outcomes. So Harry is our guest, and we are so fascinated to have him here. But before we get Harry here, we will now bring on Reverend Suah Deddeh, who is a co-host of this program. Reverend Deddeh, it is it is a joy to have a young Liberian studying at one of the highest institutions here in the United States, University of Michigan.
It warms my heart, Alex, when we see something of this volume happening right on our eyes. That's why I always say this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Because for us who are Liberians, we always welcome professionals. If others can do it, we can also do it. And that's why I always respect the honor of Dr. Toba Nuswa. And in the medical area, he worked so hard when I almost said COVID, when Ebola uh, surfaced in Liberia. And so with the legs of Dr. Nuswa, and now Momo coming into the picture, and we pray he obtains that doctorate and start to do what his country needs him to do right now. So it reminds me of Paul in 1 Timothy 4:12, when he tells Timothy, let no one despise your youth, but be an example to believers in words, in conduct, in love, in spirit, in faith, and in
Hmm.
purity. So even though Momo is not getting a degree in theology, but the degree he's working to get, the PhD, will benefit Liberia in volumes. So I'm glad that he has agreed to join us today to discuss what led him into choosing that path. And talking about growing in Peaceville, I also grew up in Peaceville, Tupper Road. And the school he attended was established by my professor from Banga School of Theology, Reverend Williams. So I can see the connectivity between him and myself already. But I bless God that he is with us today. So at least I look forward to this discussion, knowing him more and telling us more about himself and the work he's doing.
Yes, and to our viewing audience, please um, make your comments in the comment section below, and also share this link with your friends, your families, and your loved ones so they can be a part of this program as well. And with great pleasure, let us now bring on our guest, Harry Momo. Welcome to the Gracious Hope Podcast, Harry.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, and I really appreciate it. And thank you for all the great work you guys are doing. And I followed the podcast. I've seen previous episodes, and you guys are doing a really great job. And I think it's on the right path. Yeah.
Well, it is always nice to have our fellow Liberians on this platform, because this platform is geared toward um, letting Liberians know who they are, their identity, and what they do, and they express what they do based on their experience to motivate and also to inspire other people. Now,
Definitely.
what is it like leaving from Liberia during the Ebola? I understand your dad passed away. May his soul rest in peace. Your mother is here in the United States. You are going to school. And tell us a little bit how it all came together. I mean, you grew up, do you have siblings, and how it all started, your struggles from Liberia or all you went through, and then coming here to the United States?
Oh yeah, thank you for having me. Long story though. So I grew up in the Dupero area, the police academy area, and then we moved over to the Dupero
Oh,
Road, where I spent most of my time, and then I went to um I started kindergarten at Levi C. Williams, um the school in, I think it's a Effie Shocker or somewhere,
yeah,
but I was
we
very
see
young
that.
by then, but I still remember my one of my teachers, or the proprietress, Miss Hester Williams, and I think her husband as well that you mentioned. And after that, I went to Crest the King Catholic School in Odescongo Town, right opposite the Nigerian house, and that's where I went forever. I went over there from first grade to 12th grade. The plan. By then, when I got to the school, the plan was, they were just they stopped on 9th grade by then. So, and then my brother was moving over to Don Bosco. So my parents was like, okay, go to school here, 9th grade, and then go over to Don Bosco. But by the time I got to the 9th grade, they had already gone to 12th grade. So I just spent everything over at Cresta King, and it was an amazing time though. So I have siblings. I have three sisters. I lost one now, Jim Rita, may her soul rest in peace. So I still have siblings that live in Liberia, and I have a brother or two that live in Liberia. So I mean, it's been a long journey. I went to the University of Liberia after graduating high school from Cresta King. If you ask my friends, they would tell you it's been all about science, from high school. So I knew I was going to go to a program to do something science. So enrolling in the University of Liberia, biology and chemistry. So the goal was to be a doctor or something health related. So that was always the goal. So I enrolled in at the University of Liberia, and then did 1 or 2 years, and then the Ebola outbreak came. So
Mm.
shout out to my dad, my late dad. Man, he was the motivator. Made a huge investment in me. Um, he made a decision that being in Liberia was not the right thing. So we had to push here and there, and then luckily for me, I found myself here. And long story short, that's where I forwarded my education at Kentucky State University. Did my bachelor's and then stayed there. Did a master's, and then it was me ending my bachelor's and in the middle of my master's, and then I started working as a clinical research professional at the University of Kentucky Markey Cancer Center. So that's where cancer research came in for me. So the plan was to, hey, do more stuff and then go to med school. So med school was always the goal, medical school. But then when I started working in clinical research, like research became the top goal. So it was a tough choice. I got into both uh, uh, medical school and then my PhD in epidemiology. I ultimately chose to do the PhD in cancer epidemiology. So it was my experience from the University of Kentucky working in cancer clinical research, being exposed to the science, as a science student coming up, like being involved with research and, that passion, that goal got me over there. I got my first job working strongly in research, like, collaborating with doctors and just, just the passion and the goal was in research. So that's where it all became cancer for me. And then after working a few years, I'm like, we gotta get this school thing off the way. So I applied to programs, and then I got into the PhD in epidemiology with a focus in cancer epidemiology program at the University of Michigan. So a lot of things along the way, some hiccups and stuff, some things we had to persevere through. But long story short, we're here today. Blessings of God. Yeah, we take that seriously, and yeah. So here in Kentucky. I've been a member of the Trinity Hills United Methodist Church. I sing in the choir and praise band. We we had to represent, and it's been a really good time for me, like in the church, just being in a community of people that support you, and it drives you in all sectors of your life. Not only education, but if you're around people that are willing to push you, and you guys believe in the same ultimate God, it has its own way of pushing you to the top. So I think all that have factored into the man I am today. Of course, I met my beautiful wife here in Kentucky as well, and then we've been going on since. And it's been a great journey. I wouldn't change anything about it. You know,
That's
I like
good.
how it went, and yeah.
Wow, this is a very good story, Alex. And
Mhm.
just to go a little further, would you help us who are not in the science area? What is this cancer epidemiology? What is it?
So epidemiology over. Let's start with epidemiology, because cancer
Epidemic.
epidemiology is just a branch. It's just like a focus in epidemiology. So epidemiology overall is the study of diseases, the distribution of diseases. Like the COVID, the Ebola. So people that study how those diseases affect people. How many people are affected in this region or that region. How is the disease expected to spread in the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks? So those people are called epidemiologists. So we like to call them disease detectives, right? Because they are the police
Mhm.
of disease. They study the distribution of diseases. It could be typhoid, it could be infectious diseases like malaria, the coronavirus, or so I'm just focused in cancer epidemiology. So with epidemiology that I just explained, I'm focused in cancer. So the focus basically came from working at a cancer center. Uh, the university, the biggest cancer center in Kentucky, the University of Kentucky Markey Cancer Center. And I just created this love for, helping, running research studies, helping in that aspect, and seeing patients get interventions and treatments and stuff. So that's where the love for cancer came. So yeah, and then, pursuing, I wanted to focus in a specific part of epidemiology. So that's why I chose cancer epidemiology. So in short, understanding how cancer affect people, some of the risk factors of cancer, the distribution, of cancers, the etiology, the origin, like where origin is in, just understanding different things about cancer.
Wow, wow. Go ahead, Alex. I do have a question. I'll follow with you. Go
Seems
ahead.
like a lot. Science. But how do you find meaning in all that you tend to do? What is it for you like being in the classroom as a Liberian with American students and picking up sometimes, you get to a new area, a new place, new environment, you have to adapt to the
Yeah.
culture or to the environment, to the people when it comes to speech and their culture and the way they do things and all of that. How has it been for you initially until now in adapting? Because you got your bachelor's in Kentucky, you got your master's, now you do your doctorate in Michigan. How has it been like in the classroom? What are some of your experiences?
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it's been easy. Then I'll be lying. It's been a journey though. I always jokingly tell my friends from other countries that if I had to travel 5,000 miles, then I can adapt to anything. So it was tough, like just adapting, because it's a little bit difference in the educational systems in Liberia. Like for some comparisons, like we study only at a certain time. Like, you're not bumped up with homeworks, or you're not bumped up with assignments. So that was in a way, cultural shock for me when I came, because I
Mhm.
don't think any point in my life I ever had to sit every day for 5 hours trying to do homework and trying to do, assignments, trying to submit this, and then we got quits. So it was a shock at
Mhm.
first. But again, if you ever went to the University of Liberia, you had to adapt to
Yeah.
a lot of things. So I think I built a lot of my strength from. I thank God every day for going to the University of Liberia, because just going on the bus to Fender was a hassle. It was a huge hassle, and then just being around campus. So I learned, most of my firmness and courage and stuff from just attended school at the University of Liberia. And the time we entered the University of Liberia was the new wave. It was changing up from, you had so old people going to a lot of young people coming. So that 2009, 2010, 2011, the new wave of like young people that was
Mhm.
graduating, high school was moving into the University of Liberia at a fast pace. And then I got over there, met some really good friends that we're still tight till today. And, just that courage of going to the university. I tell anybody, if you can go to the University of Liberia, you can make it at any institution anywhere. So, just that courage, even though it was a little bit different, but, getting that courage and that perseverance. So when I faced the shock in like learning the educational system, it was okay in a way. So I adapted, and was part of organizations, and, had good grades, and it led to so many things. So I think, yeah, overall, we had to persevere some, and with the change in the educational system, the way we learned, the way we studied was not the same thing. Now we had to be studying 6 hours of the day, doing this and doing that, and then plus you have quizzes. But it's adaptable. Anybody can do it once you put your time to do it.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
So in the face of the perseverance, I'm sure there were times that you almost told yourself, "I am done with this. I can't go any further because the situation." Did you ever come to that point ever doing your courses and getting ready for where you are now?
Oh no, then my dad was gonna kill me. So yeah, I mean, I give a lot of credit to my dad because since I was a young man, my dad called me Dr. Momo. Right?
Wow.
My dad called me Dr. Momo from an early age, and he was very proud. Like among his friends, among people, he called me Dr. Momo until the day he passed.
Wow.
So so from the jump, I knew I wasn't letting him down. So if I ever had to think about anything, and then just some of the things we discussed, everybody have that long, for we the young people, everybody have that long conversation before you travel. Like, this is it. I'm investing this in you. You have to be um courageous, you have to
Mhm.
face whatever, and you have to take this to the next level. So having that in mind, I was never gonna mess up. I was never gonna mess up. So
Wow.
we give all the thanks to God, because in times when it was tough, like you had to study a lot, you know, we had the church family, and then you have to pray. We I always famously say, it was hope and faith, that got us through. But I think yeah, there was tough days though. Like any student would face, like you're just overwhelmed and you have to do this, you have to do that. But
Mhm.
I think yeah, just knowing that my dad was counting on me, you know, um, from the jump, I wasn't gonna fail. I was never gonna
Wow,
fail.
wow. That is powerful, Ellis. That is very powerful. We
Yes.
have we have Ellis. We have a lot of young people who are afraid to take the challenges, to step
Mhm.
into the unknown. And one of my professors told me, learn why being afraid, because if you can learn why being afraid, you are able to overcome things that may seem insurmountable. And because there's nothing impossible with that. And I can see your faith story in this matter too. So how has your mom impacted your journey as well?
Oh man, yeah, it was all the support of my mom and dad. I usually say, I usually say my dad because he was the face, but my mom, man, strong mothers. You know, my mom was really the one I could relate to. Like, got had boys and their mom. So yeah, working
Tell me
hard,
about that. Yeah, I can relate to that.
yeah, working hard to support my mom. Yeah, my mom supported my journey all through. Like, I'm working, the encouragement, like having to send me over to the States, the little things I needed, the calls on the weekend. She's been a great part of the journey, along with my dad. So I use my dad because he was the one that famously called me Dr. Momo
Dr.
every
Momo.
time. So that stuck in my head strongly though. And it's just the little things, it's just the little things. So that was my point of not letting my parents down, because my dad always called me Dr. Momo. And I feel like, part of this journey was he pushing me to be where I am today. So I
Wow.
wasn't going to let them down. So my mom and dad play a very unique role.
Indeed, indeed. And that's what the Bible tells us clearly, to always train up a child in the way that he or she should go. So when they are fully grown up, they will not depart from that teaching. So we can see that your parents played a pivotal role in upbringing. And the Bible also tells us life and death lies in the tongue. So what you
True,
say
true.
about people, yeah, really inspire them, or discourages them. And there are a lot of people who their lives were cut short, their vision destroyed, their dream or thwarted because of what people said to them, or what people put into their spirit. And so it's impactful for people to look at you when they know that you are far stay away from that position and they call you that title. It's very
Yeah, yeah.
encouraging.
It's,
So what would
it's
you say for young people? Momo, I can start calling that the Momo myself right now. What would you say? What would you say to young people who would need to hear some inspirational direction from you?
Oh man, I think and I've been over the past few years. I've been highly involved into being a mentor as well. I think just from seeing people, learning from them, it can be a very good path to take. But anybody can do anything, in the right situation, in the right place, and you're able to push if you want it. I think anybody can be able to do anything. So I mean, if you're out there trying to work. We know, especially people in the diaspora that are trying to work and do school, it can be very challenging, But I mean, once you got your eyes on the price, it's doable. I've had friends over here that had to navigate the same, and that got inspired by me. We got inspired by each other, and they're able to get. But I'll tell you this: I think a lot of young Liberians in the diaspora are seeing this path, and this I know I know a lot of professionals here in the states that have seen the green light and know that, hey, this is the way to go. Like, the goal is to be successful. The goal is to, and people are taking the right path. But for people still trying, anybody can do anything. Once you put your mind to it, I know it's pretty cliche at this time, but it's really true. Though. I guess that's why people always say that it's really true. Sometimes you just have to trust the journey, and like I famously say, hope and faith. You gotta hope, and then you gotta have the faith that is gonna go through. I don't think it's any magic. It's just you putting your time to it, and being able to put in that work. I
Yeah.
think that's where a lot of people fail, because the discipline. Discipline is key. You gotta have the discipline to get what you want and know how to get what you want. It can be tough. Some people can stop on the way, and but you got to have that discipline, and that discipline of if you have an early class in the morning, getting up to go to class, or if you're not an early person, put your class in the middle of the day. Just being smart and having a discipline to get what you want to get. But I think it's doable.
Indeed, it's doable. Faith and hope, and then discipline. Those three things will have to work together, because I know, in the absence of faith and hope, it is hard to even take a step, to make a move. And Dr. Momo is here with us today, discussing his work, getting ready for the doctorate degree. Pretty soon we'll be having Doctor, maybe Professor Momo. Don't be surprised of the vision he has. But there are not many people who have the inspiration you have to go with profession you want to obtain. And so back in Liberia, we will need such a professional as you have. But right now, it looks like you are lonely, in a sense where you might be the only cancer epidemiology in Liberia. So good thing you're going to apply this in Liberia, this area you are studying right now in our country, in the face of the need for us to have such
Yes.
professionals like you. How do you think that's going to happen?
Yes, definitely. I think we will need. We definitely the rising incidence and deaths from cancer in sub-Saharan Africa right now is alarming, and it's climbing up every day. I was just having a conversation with actually the only medical oncologist in Liberia right now, who's trained to treat cancers with chemotherapy, and we were just discussing some potential research path, and like the treatment area. I can tell you, like, she's facing a lot of challenges right now with with the cancer cases she sees. So I don't think there's any joke about it. Cancer is rising. It has been rising in the whole sub-Saharan Africa, and the alarming rates are there. So our expertise, we're all doing this just for the motherland. I always like to say. So even if we're not there, physically, we will still be able to use our minds. I like how the world is virtual now, that we can be able to plan big programs and solicit funding for different things, virtually now. So either way, we'll have to help. This is all for Liberia, and this is all for like reaching out to help the health sector, and trying to reduce the cancer burden, because it is expected to increase. I say this to say, with some of the risk factors of cancer being really common in places like Africa right now, is expected to increase. So for example, smoking is a very strong risk factor of lung cancer and many other cancers.
Mm-hmm.
So if you follow, I mean, I don't have data to back this up right now, but I think if you follow the rates of smoking in Africa, or even Liberia right now, and many other countries, it's so high. So and these things just don't happen, today you smoke and then tomorrow. So it happens in the long
Yeah,
run. So
yeah,
not to scare anybody, but we have to understand some of these projections, and I strongly believe that the rates of cancers are going to increase in Africa. It's increasing right now, and the death rates are high. But I feel like in the next 10 or 15 years, it's going to increase further. So building the right system and investing in those sectors are going to be valuable. So we're definitely going to do our best to be there to work with other stakeholders to help that aspect, but it's alarming. And yeah, we have to take that into notice, and we have to start addressing some of the risk factors that are associated with cancer.
Wonderful.
Yes. And if you're just joining us, this is the Gracious Hope Live podcast. My name is Pastor Alexander Ray, along here with Pastor Suah Deddeh, and our guest here, Harry Momo. He's a very intelligent and ambitious student here, Ph.D. student or candidate, and studying cancer. It is very, very intriguing, and we are getting to understand more about cancer. And he just said something very alarming, that the rate of cancer will increase in Africa as a whole. So he has seen studies, he has seen a lot of things in the lab, I believe, or through research to alarm. But we will be right back. Don't go away. We'll be right back. And share this link with your friends, your families, and your loved ones. We'll be right back. Okay, and we are back. All right. So, Momo, Mr. Momo, let me understand here. When we talk
Dr.
about cancer,
Momo.
huh? Doctor. Okay. I want to understand here. Now, cancer as a whole, it is very, very scary for one to get the news. And I know
Yes,
you get a certain age, you should do a cancer screening, right? At what age is
yes,
that?
yes.
50?
So it depends the cancer. So cancer is generally a disease of the old. But notwithstanding, we have seen striking rates of certain cancers in young people. For example, colorectal cancer, right? Colorectal cancer has grown. So before, like in the United States, the regular screening was at, I think, at 50, but now they have brought it down to, I think, 45 or 40 years old, because of the risk of colorectal cancer in younger people are increasing. So it depends the cancer. For cancers like breast cancer and prostate cancer, they're screening around, and then young people can get breast cancer screening. If you feel lumps and stuff, there are things like that you can do to get screening. So I think it depends on which type of cancer it is. So we like to say cancer, but cancer is a really big umbrella. I like to think of cancers as different diseases on their own. So the way breast cancer operate is not the way how a brain cancer will operate. The way how a brain cancer operate is not how a kidney cancer will operate. So it's generally cancer, but these are different mechanisms in which those cancers work. So there are different screening recommendations for depending on the type of cancer. Like I said, a colorectal cancer 45. Breast cancer can be as early, and then there are vaccines out now for cancers like cervical cancer that have very increasing death incident and death rates in Africa right now and Western Africa. So there are vaccines out now, and I'll show some of these things are getting popular in Africa, and because they're, what is intriguing is that the cancers that have high death rates in places like Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, are considered, treatable cancers in the modern
Mm.
world, right? So cervical cancer or other types of cancers or lung cancers or breast cancer. So that's alarming, and those are things we need to, start thinking about, directing national resources to that. I've said previously that, things like lung cancer or smoking related cancers is projected to increase or lifestyle related cancers like, obesity or other things that are related to lifestyle, with the
Mhm.
shifting in the way we do things, the way we eat. We're not eating fresh no more, or even, people are not exercising. There are no parks there, and people are exposed to a lot of tobacco or smoking this and smoking that. So you can almost expect that, in the near future, the risk of cancers are projected to increase. Um, at a really high rate. We need to start having those conversations, and getting the right resources that we can be able to direct to that.
There's a saying, prevention is better than cure. I know some of our
Definitely.
listeners right now, they are listening. I heard you mention about exercise, eating well, eating the right diet or right kind of food, vegetables and your veggies and also your fruits,
You
uh,
miss nuts and things like that.
your nuts
It is
and
hard
then
to do though.
exercise. But so let us talk about prevention because I know we got all types of cancer, right? We got the breast cancer. So a lot of women listening right now, they want to know how can they prevent breast cancer, and if they have been infected with breast cancer, what can they do?
I think for cancers, prevention is very good, and early detection is is really good if you cross that stage. So with early detection, you're able to detect your cancer at a very early stage, and then you have um, a better treatment outcome than, let's say, someone who their cancer was staged at a higher stage, stage 3 or metastatic cancer, where the treatment is a little bit aggressive. So, as you said, getting your regular screenings, we have to publicize those things. I know it's been done in, African countries or countries like Liberia right now. I follow some of the breast cancer awareness, and, people are getting the x-rays and stuff. That's the right thing to do, because there's a chance that, if you're getting your regular screenings and stuff, that it can be caught. If you were to have cancers, it can be caught at an early stage, and it's still ready for surgery by then. And it's at an early stage. Usually, with cancers, the earlier the better, because you have better treatment perspectives, and a lot of things can just go right for you. But with the downside to our motherland and many other countries like our motherland is that we don't have those resources. So most of these cancers are caught at a very late stage where there are no better, treatment prospects and stuff. But I think it's getting popular now. People are understanding that they need to be screened for certain cancers, certain common cancers. At a certain, if you feel lumps, certain places you need to go to see your doctor. But I think the right resources need to be pushed into that a little more. We need to direct the resources to the right things that people can be able to understand. First of all, what the process is, what prevention is, and
Yeah,
what, because
yeah,
y'all man can be looking for his food every day to eat, and he telling his go sit down to the hospital, go do some scan. What he got to pay $50 for. So those things, it's really tough. It's really tough
yeah,
to
yeah,
navigate that in a lower income country.
And it
So
takes
those,
education too, right? Because
yeah,
I've
definitely.
heard some people will say, why people always go to check with the doctor and then they find out you got a disease or something, then your whole life turn upside down. So let me just live my life as I want to live it. If it comes, that's
Yeah,
it. And some people are afraid to know from the get go that they have certain disease that needs treatment. And
and that's
dealing with
and
our
that's
people, I
yeah,
believe it
and
education, right?
yeah,
Awareness.
yeah, true, and that's bad. And I'll tell you why I say that's bad. And I've been discouraging a lot of people in my community here in the Lexington, Kentucky area, and people that I see. It's better to know. We shouldn't, and I encourage people, if you're working hard, right? If you're working hard, you have a job and a health insurance, you have to use it. That's why we come, especially people in the diaspora. If you're here working all your time, that's what you work for. So you should be able to see your primary care doctor if you have problems, or just get your regular screenings done. It's very important because, as I said earlier, the earlier with cancer, the earlier the better.
Yeah.
Because if you have cancer and it's caught at a really early stage, you have a lot of, there can be a lot of benefits to that. Then, your cancer being caught at a late stage where, the treatment can be a little bit more aggressive with you. There are a lot of side effects, and that's why some people don't even make it through the side effects of the cancer regimen. So, I tell people in the African community, I tell people in the Liberian community, then what's the essence of you working? Just saying money battle like, bro, you got to help insurance. You got to help insurance. Why not use it, and
But
stay in
just to
touch with
follow
your
up,
gut.
yeah, just to follow up Alice's question, we know that lung cancer is largely caused by smoking on a long-term basis. But somebody is wondering what causes colorectal cancer.
So colorectal cancer can be smoking related as well, can be
Hmm.
lifestyle, and some of these can be completely genetic. So some of those you don't have control over. Like in modern countries where they're able to like track your family history, people with strong
Mhm.
family history, there's a higher chance, and then it can be smoking related, it can be lifestyle. So there's different things that will cause that or that are risk factors of colorectal cancers.
Hmm. Wow.
Hmm.
Wow. You say lifestyle for people who are not used to hearing words, the lifestyle. What do you mean,
So
lifestyle?
lifestyle can mean different things. Lifestyle can mean the food you eat. No, obesity. Obesity has been a risk factor of many cancers.
Hmm.
Being obese, a BMI of above 30. You know, so that's all. When we say lifestyle, it's all under the same umbrella. Things you eat, not exercising. Having a body weight, a body mass index above a certain level. So those can be consider lifestyle. So that has a lot to do. If you see where in other countries people invest in parks and recreational activities a lot,
Mm-hmm.
it's because exercise and fitness is actually related not only cancer but a lot of other diseases.
But when it comes to our culture, Harry, Liberian culture, we have this norm. If you put on more weight, it means that you're enjoying. You are
Definitely.
wealth. Everything is okay, and especially if your stomach is big in front of you, you put a lot of beer, and then you are healthy. And I came to America, I discovered that I had to cut down. I had to make choices of the things that I eat. I had to make my own choice. Pick what to eat, and it was a whole different orientation I had to go through. So, what do you
Yeah.
tell those people who believe that if you put on weight, or man, if you have a big belly, then it means you're okay, you're wealthy? What will you tell those people?
I think that's not true though. I think that's a myth. Is not true. Usually things like obesity and I think it's related to the shorter lifespan we're seeing in Africa at the moment. Like people are not living long no more, and it's really alarming. So those are risk factors for not only cancer but a lot of other diseases, heart diseases. Obesity is related to many cardiovascular diseases, metabolic syndrome. So not only cancer, but I'll tell you this: I think it has shifted a lot in Liberia though. When I went
Mm,
to Liberia in 2019, I, I went to SKD to exercise, and a lot of people are out there exercising, running around the stadium. There are different exercise groups and stuff. So I think people know that. I think those things are changing. I guess the only thing we need to invest in, or the government or the private sector is more parks and stuff, more recreational centers because those things are important and they are strategic. Having those things around the community enforces certain things like working out or just physical activity in general. So I think it has changed in Liberia. I think people know that. You know, like going, I was amazed. Just going to SKD and see there's like different exercise groups. Like people are there doing sit-ups, push-ups, and
yes.
people are running. So I think that's a good thing. But that's not true. Like having the notion that if you're overweight, it's a good thing, or you're rich, or I don't think that's the right message. That's a myth. I think people should change that, and people should start focusing on their health.
Okay.
Wonderful, wonderful,
So
wonderful.
Momo. So which county are you hailing? Are you hail from your parents?
Yeah. I'm a pure city boy. Grew up in the
You're
city.
a city
City.
boy.
But my parents are Bong County, so my parents were both.
One county.
My dad grew up in Bong County, but his parents are from. There's a town on the Beaumont Road called Saki Beaumont Town. That's where my dad's from, but he lived some of his life in the Bong Mines in the Handy area for my district. And my mom is from that area, the former district in Handybone County. So my parents are both Pele people.
That's
Oh,
good. That's
okay.
good. That's
Do you speak
at least
Pele?
you know where you're from. That's a good thing.
Do you speak Pele?
I don't know if I'm fluent. I think a little
Well,
bit.
but if
My
I'm
siblings
gossiping about you, you would know, right? If I'm talking about you in Pele, you at least you will
yeah, I
understand what
think
I'm
I can.
saying.
Yeah, I'm not fluent at all, but I think I can tell some of this stuff. I know a few words. I know a few words,
That's
and that's
good.
some of the things I really regret. Though I wish I had a chance to learn
So
more, to
so when
stay
someone, when
stay
someone
into it
says
more.
when someone says Yatua, what do they mean?
That's easy. That's hello. That's hello. That's hello. That's why.
Yeah.
What do you believe that education is a key to success?
Oh man. So education, I absolutely believe that. So I put it this way to people, right? I'm 100% on education, right? I'm 100% on education. I want to be educated, but education is the best way that can push you up there. And education is the biggest backup plan you can ever have. So for countries like the US, right? If you have a bachelor's degree in something, at least you have that mindset, or there's a chance for you to keep your little 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 job
Yeah.
somewhere that can keep you afloat as compared to just being, not educated. So I think education is the and it depends on what we're talking about, college education or just being trained in something else. I usually would tell people just get something, you know, get something. And if it's like 4 year education, or if it's like a technical stuff you can get under your belt, get it. Because I feel like the thing I feel about education is that it can be able to elevate you to the next level,
Next
right? So
level.
if you had that bachelor's in something, tomorrow you know that, hey, I'm working in a nursing home, tomorrow I can be like a secretary somewhere, and that's a jump in pay grade, and I can stay there for the next 10 years. I know that, my salary will be able to go up and I can live comfortably, as compared to not being trained in anything or not having a background in anything. So I definitely believe education is the key to success. And I encourage everyone around me every time to get something. You don't have to be like at the very top if you don't want to be, that's a preference, but get something under your belt that you can be able, even if you think you want to be an entrepreneur, right? Like, oh, I love my business, I want to do this. Get something, that can be your fallback later. If everything is not working, you can go back, and it's not. I think and another thing, since you bring that up, we need to change this. A lot of kids don't want to go into the nine to five no more, or get a regular education. People want quick money. They want to do this, they want to do that. I think we need to discourage that, and encourage people to get their at least first degree, or some level of education, so that when everything else don't work for you, you can find something in your area and be able to do something, you know.
Stay on that trend. Which and I'm glad Ellis asked that question, because that was my next approach to this discussion with you today. Now you are working hard to get it your doctorate degree. Now the follow-up question is, what do you intend to do? Do you want to be an academician, teaching in class, or government minister, or entrepreneur? What vision do you have for this the degree you're working so hard for, that is much needed? Mhm.
So I'm a man. I'm a man of different areas. I'm pretty diverse, and I thank God that I've been able to be a diverse person over the years. So I try to stay away from government. I don't think I fit well in government, because I like to be the one to do my things, run my things, and make the decisions with partners on the right, not just so overall. I'm not a very big fan of government. So I think the goal of what I'm doing is definitely to be able to give back to the motherland at some point, and be able to, and as I said, with the technological world, you can be able to multitask, right? um so yeah, the goal is to be able to help reduce, the overall goal is just to help reduce the cancer burden, specifically in lower income countries like Liberia, Sierra Leone, some other countries that are, is to be able to work with the government, not working as a government worker, but working with people that are supporting those resources to be able to quote unquote help reduce the cancer burden that is projected to be high in the next few years. So overall that's the goal. So I'm a guy of the private sector, and I like to be around the pharmaceutical industry as well. Over the years, I've been interested in the pharmaceutical industry as well. But I know I would do a lot of things.
Mhm.
I would do a lot of things, not really being focused on one. Maybe I can run programs in Liberia, like screening programs, or working on a cancer center that we can be able to generate some data, or like work with people over here, you know, rally around with people that we can be able to take some resources to my motherland. So I think the goal is to do a lot of things, but centered around cancer and
Okay.
cancer research.
Yeah. So we have like 10 more minutes, but I wonder what is your perspective or view about Liberia? You left Liberia during the Ebola. You came here, and you're going through college now on a PhD level. When you look at Liberia and look at your friends from your neighborhood, those that you grew up with, and hearing the news, reading whether it is social media or the paper, and looking at your other relatives back home, what do you think about Liberia, from the governing authority to the civil society as a whole, and the elections that took place, and now this is a runoff? What is your view? What can you share?
So I think this is a really good question. First of all, overall, I don't think, and I hate to say this, but I think the truth is I don't think Liberia has gotten any better from when we left the country, and some of the things that are going on now. And we were just having this conversation. I think there's a lot of dishonest people in Liberia, and it's sad that those people found themselves in high places, that they were able to exploit the resources that should be directed to the people. And I think, drugs and terrible lifestyle have taken over Liberia from since we were young. I think it has increased. A lot of young people are exposed to drugs, and I don't think and it saddens me to even be saying this, that I don't think it has gotten better, and I don't think it's on the best trend. But I still believe somewhere deep down in me that we are raising the generation that can be able to make that change. I strongly believe that, and I know a lot of people who believe the same. And I feel like we can be able to make the change in our country. But just to your main question, I don't think things have gotten better
Hmm.
as far as the educational system, the health, the public health system, the healthcare system. I don't think anything is working. And it, not to get any political here, but um, parties spend millions and millions of dollars on campaign and stuff, and you have the hospital don't even have funding. Like, there's only one medical oncologist in the country right now. Yeah, so it's sad. It's sad. But I think there's still a bigger room to change some of those things, and we can be able to make that change with the next generation.
So when given an opportunity where you sit right now, how would you change some of the things you just talked about? What would be your approach to changing things in the direction you want them to go? Just few thoughts on that.
Man, it's tough. It's tough. I think we need to instill this culture, I would say, back of honesty. You know, let people put the country first. You know, I think people just really care about their pockets, and that's why people really just care about that. I think the fundings are there. I think we're able to support some of these things, but people just are taking the money. They care about themselves. They only care about them and their family. So I will start by instilling that honesty, that the resources that are intended for those things, if it's intended for healthcare, if we're increasing the budgets on healthcare, if we're increasing the budgets on on the schooling system, let it be used for that purpose. And there should be strong authority over that, to oversee that, and accountability. In modern countries, you see people resign when they're held accountable for something. I mean, at least they're being held accountable for something. Like, if you have not served your people in the right way, and if there's a scandal, the very first thing you do is resign, and then you can discuss the case. But we don't see that trend in our countries. Like, people who are the most corrupt ones, people who are getting all the resources, are the main ones that are even still controlling that. So I feel like, there's no accountability, and there's no penalties for people that, commit these crimes, or people that direct those resources for themselves. So it just continues to go on. So those are some of the things I will want to change, like just setting a system of accountability, and setting a system of honesty where the right resources can be utilized for the right things. And it's not easy by any means, though. That's gonna be that's gonna be a 5% of people that really believe in that, to a top 5% of people that believe in that, to change those sectors.
Before I go back to Alex, because we'll be closing from this end, from after I ask this question. All of us who are faith people have certain scripture that keeps us going, and so I'm not trying to put you in the spot, but which yeah. So what part of the Word of God that keeps you going? We all have certain scriptures set that we meditate on when we are down and out. So I'm not asking you to quote it for me, but what? Yeah,
No,
what?
I do. So
Yeah.
so I'm big with it. So I always play this in my mind. God is not a man to lie. Whatsoever He says will come to pass, and that has been my mentor, I'll say, for many years. I believe that strongly, though. Like, every time I'm going through something, or I feel like I have no way, that repeats in my head, that God is not a man to lie. Like, whatsoever he says will come to pass. So if you believe that God has, planned something for your life, and you're in the right direction, so yeah, that has been my go-to verse. When things are not going right, or if I need to just quote something in my head to keep me up. That has been my go-to.
Okay, that's great. And so just to recap here, you're working on your PhD as a candidate in cancer epidemiology,
Definitely.
clinical research. You are married and you have a daughter.
Yes, yes.
A daughter, okay, and also your faith. Back in Liberia, you were a Lutheran or a Methodist.
I grew up in a Lutheran church. My
You grew
parents
up
were
in a
Lutheran.
Lutheran church, okay.
And then, yeah.
And then here you continue with
Yeah, I'm
the
a
Lutheran
Methodist
or the
now.
Methodist.
I'm a Methodist now. I go to the
Methodist,
Trinity
okay,
Hills United Methodist Church in
okay,
Lexington, Kentucky. That's my church, yeah.
okay. And so, lastly, just anything else that you would like for those who are watching right now, the young people who sitting somewhere and say, I wish I had an opportunity like Harry. I'm young here. I don't have the opportunity, but I have him over there. What word of hope can he give me? What will
If
you
if
say?
you live if you're in the United States, I don't think there's much excuse. No, I'm kidding. I think the resources are here, though. For young people living in the States, I think there's tons and tons of resources. I can, agree with people living back home in Liberia. Even if I mentor a lot of people back home in Liberia, though, people are striving. There's this whole generation of, I want to be successful, I want to learn. And then what's more about you, that are in a country of resources. You are in the theater of dreams. Like, you can make it happen if you want to.
Mhm.
So there's a way. I think it's doable. It's not magic. It's doable. We talked about this earlier. You have to put in the time. You have to have the discipline, but it's doable. You can do basically anything you want to do, especially living in the States. You can do anything you want to do. There are
Indeed.
resources. There are resources for it, and if you want to be successful, but it's just that drive, and putting God first. If you're a person of faith, putting God first, and manifesting to yourself what you want to be and working hard towards it. I think that's the key. But anything is doable for people living in the diaspora, and even people living back home that are aspiring to be, where they want to be. I think it's doable. Just be around connections. I like to tell people about connections. Don't downplay connections. I have used mentorship connections all my life, and I learned that earlier on from people in Liberia. You know, I was in when I was in UL, I was in the honors program, and the head of the program always used to talk about connections. She wanted us to meet people, and I learned that, and it has carried me all through. Like everywhere I go, I love to have mentors or sponsors, as people say, because there's a difference between a mentor and a sponsor. We can talk
Yeah,
about that another time.
Mhm.
But
yeah,
sponsors definitely will talk for you, right? Will be able to speak on your behalf when you are not there. Mentors are just to put you on the right path. So I would say, like, pursue good connections, stay in contact with the connections, and then seek sponsorship, like people that are able to vouch for you when you're not there, and then mentors too, people that are able to show you their path and you're able to learn from them. Those are things, and at an early age you can get a mentor. You don't have to be in your 20s, or you can be in high school and get a mentor. If there's this one big sister that's focusing on her education, you can see her as a mentor. Ask her, how are you doing it? And so yeah, there's a lot of things people can do to be successful, and I strongly believe if you want it, you can get it.
it's
Yeah, you
great.
got to
It's
want
great.
it. And that'll be our parting words for today. Thank you so much, Harry, for being our guest here. We appreciate your timely appearance. And I know all that you say here, sharing your story, sharing your experience, will resonate with our listeners, and those in Liberia and diaspora will also know what it is, to get into the classroom in a whole different environment. Some of the adjustments that you had to make, even up to now. But your story is fascinating, and hopefully we'll invite you back here in the nearest future to talk
Sure,
more
sure.
about, yes, your study and also the health sector of our country as a whole.
Definitely, definitely. And
Thank you.
it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Pastor Deddeh, for having me. It was a great conversation. I really appreciate this. Continue what you're doing, man. I follow the podcast and I listen to all your guests, and it's fascinating what you guys are doing. Continue to do it, and it's been a pleasure.
Been a
And
pleasure.
we will send you the devotional to beside the podcast. Alex and I have a lot of teaching devotions, devotional that I believe you can benefit from it as well as your friends. So thank you for the bravery. Alex, let me say this. I'm sorry before we leave.
Go ahead. Go
Yeah, there's a lot of young people who are afraid to enter the limelight where they can talk about themselves and explain what they want to do. So you just one of the few persons who have agreed to come. I've talked with more than one young people, and it just no, Pastor did I don't want to. And but thank you. Your story is inspirational. I hope they watch this and be inspired by you. Thank you so much, and thank you, Alex, for funding this young man, for Dr. Momo. We look forward to
ahead.
that.
Yeah. Do
Thank
you
you.
have a Facebook?
Yeah. My name on Facebook is Harry Dennis Momo. I think
Oh,
the
Harry Dennis
same. Yeah,
Momo.
and then
Yep.
LinkedIn. My name is. So professionally, yeah, reach out. Young people, if you need to hear my story, if you need to learn from my perspective, you're out there. Even not that I have all the knowledge, but I think I can be able to help, and we can learn from each other. So yeah, LinkedIn preferably. Yeah, so LinkedIn Harry Momo.
All right. Sure. Thank you. And it was a pleasure. Our greetings to your wife and your daughter. And we wish you God's blessings. And
And your mom too.
hopefully,
Momo is your mom.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Hopefully, everything will go well. All right.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Have a great weekend.
You
Thank you, brother.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, and if you want to get a copy of this, you can go to our YouTube page. We have a YouTube page. You can subscribe. Hit subscribe is free, and you can download it on your YouTube page, or you can get our app on your phone as well. The app, you can go there and even download it on your personal phone go to the App Store, look for Gracious Hope Bible Fellowship in the App Store, and download it and get it on your phone. You can download this particular recording. We've got a whole podcast. All our previous podcasts will be there that you can download and listen. And this podcast is geared toward um, promoting and preserving the Christian heritage of our country, Liberia. And we, from time to time, bring guests in here to talk about some of these amazing stories that will inspire you, for you to hear from the other side of the world, to see what other fellow Liberians are doing. And it's a connecting point for every one of us to celebrate what we do as our God given gifts, talents, skills, and abilities. Until then, Reverend Suah Deddeh will be here tomorrow, Sunday, as always, at 5 p.m. with his Bible study, the Grace Sufficient Ministry. And of course, again, please share this link. Please share this link with your friends, your families, and your loved one. And we shall see you again. Goodbye for now.